What's up, everybody? I'm Scott. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're keeping safe. I'm a little confused. Seriously, I've got questions, and I'm sure a bunch of you out there watching this video right now probably have the same questions as me, which is why you clicked on this video. But late last night for me, and maybe for you as well, or early this morning for some of you, you noticed something on the internet and you said to yourself, what the fuck is that guitar? And the guitar that I'm talking about, folks, is the, what are they calling this guitar? It is the Dean USA Dimebag Southern Cross. So I believe there are probably 3 different reactions people are having to this guitar right now. The first being, fuck you, Dean, stop making guitars that look like old Washburn guitars. The second reaction is probably, this guitar is totally fucking cool. I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's impossible to find a Southern Cross right now. This is my chance to get a Southern Cross. And the third reaction, which I believe might be a common reaction, maybe amongst the viewers of this video, it's my reaction right now as well, which is a sense of confusion and not totally sure yet what I think or how I feel about this guitar because there's not a whole lot of information on it. Anyways, let's jump into it together. Let's take a look to see what we can figure out about this guitar, see what we know, and see if we can figure out what the fuck this thing is. All right, so if you are insane like me and you're constantly, and I mean constantly, searching Reverb and any sort of online buy and sell website where you can buy and sell guitars, you're constantly looking for Dimebag guitars like myself, and when something new or unique or something different pops up, it definitely catches your interest, and this one caught my interest. What we have here is a Dean USA Dimebag Southern Cross listed on Reverb, sold by Chandro Guitars, and this is, the price looks funny because it's in Canadian, so this is converted from US. That translates to just over 7,000 Canadian. All right, so let's jump in and take a look at the details. So this has an estimated ship date, so this is a pre-order for August 1st, 2021, so this guitar is not available yet. Looking at the pictures right off the bat, the thing that caught me a bit off guard was the quilted top. Anybody who's a fan of these guitars knows that they are flame tops, and if I'm not mistaken, somebody please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but all of Dimebag's guitars that he played, if they weren't a solid finish and if they showed some wood grain, were typically flame tops. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to think back, I'm pretty sure they're all flame tops. So when I see an ML shape, especially one as iconic as this, the Southern Cross, with a quilt top, my personal preference looks a little odd. It looks a little bit weird to me. I get what Dean was doing and what they're going for here because they want to differentiate it a little bit. I mean, they're not trying to make it exactly the same, although it's pretty close. My personal preference is I feel like the flame looks a bit better with this shaped guitar and just the sort of the overall style and the iconicness, if you will, of the Southern Cross. So let's take a closer look at this. At first glance, you know, they've got the cross inlays. The one on the first fret is not there, which is just like the Southern Cross compared to the cross made by Boogie Street Guitars, which had the inlay on the first fret. This one matches the Washburn Southern Cross. Going a little bit closer, it looks like this looks like it's a top-mounted Floyd, not a recessed Floyd. So the Southern Cross had a recessed Floyd. This one appears to be using a top-mounted, which is similar to what the original Dean from Hell was. So the commemorative limited edition Dean from Hells that they made in 2015, the 100 that they made, I've got one of them. I made a couple videos on it. That one has a top-mounted Floyd Rose, just like the original Dean from Hell. This one appears to have that as well. If I zoom in, this is not a picture of a real guitar, guys. I'm like 99.9% sure this is a Photoshopped rendering of what this guitar might look like. Look at this bridge. This doesn't look real to me. This is Photoshop, guys. I'm almost certain this is a Photoshopped image. Look at this. Even the knobs, everything about this looks a little off. Yeah. This is not a real picture. Well, it's a real picture, but it's not a picture of a real guitar. This is a Photoshop rendering. Interesting. So are you out there willing to drop over 5,000 or over 7,000 Canadian on a guitar that is only a Photoshop rendering of the guitar? I don't know, I'm not sure. Listen guys, I've definitely bought guitars without playing them before. I've spent some good money on guitars I've never physically picked up and only seen in pictures, but they were real pictures of the actual guitar that I was gonna buy. We're making a lot of assumptions here based on a Photoshop rendering of this guitar of what it's going to look like as a finished product. Now listen, don't get me wrong. Dean USA custom shop stuff is top shelf. They make some phenomenal stuff. So this guitar, when it is made, I'm certain it's going to be a sick guitar. It's going to be really well made, super high quality. I've owned a handful of Dean USA Custom Shop guitars, and they seriously are top shelf guitars. So I'm not saying this is going to be a bad guitar. I'm sure it's going to be a phenomenal guitar, but to spend this much money on a guitar that only is showing you Photoshop renderings of the guitar is a little odd to me. It's just my opinion. All right, let's take a closer look at the guitar and see what they say about it. Mahogany body, ebony cross inlay, just like the Southern Cross. The neck is mahogany, fingerboard is ebony. The bridge pickup is a dimebucker, and the neck pickup is one of those DMT Dime Time humbuckers. So yeah, I mean, the spec is very close, very similar to what the Washburn Southern Cross is. Hard shell case included. I fucking hope so for that amount of money. I hope there's a hard shell case included. The thing that I find a bit strange about this is that there's no indication as to if this is a limited edition guitar to limited quantities, like 100 of them, or, you know, sometimes they like to do Dime's favorite number, 333 of them. So my gut is telling me, based on at least this listing, is that this is going to be a production guitar and not a limited edition guitar. Could be wrong, but based on the information that we have, this doesn't appear to be a limited edition guitar. So anyways, I wanted to know a little bit more information about this guitar. Just like you, I'm interested to know more. And when I did a Google search, the only other thing I came up with was Chandro Guitar's website, which has the same images of the guitar pictured, same information about the expected release date. It's a pre-order. So yeah, you can see here, it's $51.99 USD. And then the product description is, it's all the same information. So again, we don't have any more information on this. And I wanted to take a step further. I went onto Dean's website and I started to search around their website, and I went to the artist section. And if you click on Dime, there's nothing on this page that talks about this guitar at all. It's not mentioned anywhere. And if I go to their USA series, which has all of their USA models, there's a Dimebag section there with those 5 guitars. And yeah, I mean, you scroll down, there's nothing here. There's nothing on the Dean website that talks about this guitar. So I mean, I got lots of questions about this guitar. I want to know more about this guitar. And I'm sure there's a bunch of you out there that want to know more too, but this appears to be the only thing that you can find online right now about this guitar is this Chandro Guitars page listing the guitar, and then also their reverb listing. And that appears to be it, man. All right, guys, so what I want to do now, what I thought would be fun is to just do a real quick comparison of the Southern Cross models that are available. So there's obviously the original Washburn Southern Cross, there's the Boogie Street Guitars, the Cross, and now this new Dean USA Dimebag Southern Cross. So let's take a quick look at the similarities and the differences between these 3 guitars. All right, so at first glance, the original Southern Cross, to me at least, looks the best. I feel like the original is always going to be the best, but there's just something about the balance of the color, the stain that they chose to use on the top, the flame top itself, just the overall look of the original Southern Cross. Hard to match. It looks great. I think it looks the best out of the 3. In terms of the Boogie Street Cross guitar, it is close to the Southern Cross in terms of the spec and how they've chosen to lay everything out. It's very, very similar. Also, the first fret inlay on the Southern Cross does not have a cross inlay, whereas the Boogie Street does. But other than that, they're quite similar. Generally speaking, from the pictures that I've seen, the Boogie Street ones tend to be a little bit more yellow, kind of more orangey. They're not as nice tops from what I've seen compared to the actual USA Washburn Southern Crosses, but some of them aren't bad. And then looking at the new Dean USA Dimebag Southern Cross, again, take this with a grain of salt because like I said, I'm pretty sure this is just a Photoshop rendering, so it's really hard to say if this is what this guitar is actually going to look like. But at first glance, the fretboard is really similar to the original Washburn Southern Cross with no inlay at the first fret. The color of the guitar seems to be a little bit more brown, kind of more orangey, but again, I'm pretty sure this is just a rendering, so it's hard to say exactly what that's going to look like when they're actually done making these things. And lastly, I don't know, it's just me, but I'm not really feeling the quilt top. I love quilt top guitars, don't get me wrong, but I just never have been a fan of quilt top with this shape. I don't know. Just my opinion. Taking a closer look at the bodies, you can see kind of the close-up here. And also just to let you know, these are not my pictures. These images I just took from past reverb listings of these guitars. So many of you who either own these guitars or have been watching these guitars know that they all look a little bit different, but I thought these were fairly decent representations of what a lot of them look like. So again, the bridge on the Washburn and the bridge on the Boogie Street are similar in terms of the fact that they're recessed Floyd Rose bridges. And then on this new Photoshop version of the Southern Cross, it looks to be a top-mounted bridge. Also, is it just me, or does the inlay of the cross on the body and the inlay of the crosses in the fretboard look a lot nicer on the Southern Cross compared to the Dean Southern Cross. Again, photoshopped, it's hard to say what this is actually going to look like when they're done making these things, but just from these photos alone, the Washburn Southern Cross looks to be a lot nicer. And the last thing I want to check out is the headstock. So the major differences here are quite obvious. The Washburn Southern Cross has the typical D3 Dimebag headstock, which has the Washburn logo. It's got Dime at the top there, and then underneath it says Dimebag Darrell signature model. The Boogie Street Cross, on the other hand, does not have any mention of Dimebag because legally I don't think they could. So this does not have the Dime name at the top here. It does have this barbed wire graphic. It has the same Washburn logo, but underneath it says Boogie Street Limited. And then lastly, we have this Dean Photoshop guitar, which is just the standard Dean headstock with just the Dean logo with the wings there and no mention of Dimebag on the headstock anywhere. It's just the straight up Dean headstock, which I think looks pretty good. It looks fine. It's just the standard headstock and there's nothing wrong with it. I think they look great. I mean, there's not much else to say other than, you know, it's a similar looking guitar. It's not exactly the same. I get what Dean was going for to make some tweaks and some changes to make it their own, but really this is just sort of a riff on the original Washburn Southern Cross. You might like it, you might not like it, or you might be like me and totally confused by what this Photoshop guitar is. Like I said, I wanted to jump on here and just make a real quick video for you all because I know if you're like me out there, this caught your eye, this piqued your interest, and you want to know a bit more about this guitar. So I'm hoping this video serves as a point of discussion maybe for some people to sort of share their thoughts, share their opinions. And if you have any more information about this guitar, please feel free to leave a comment in the comments below. Let us all know, what the fuck is this guitar? All right, folks, that'll do it for me today. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It'd help me out. And if you like videos about guitars and amps and pedals and shit like that, you'll probably dig my channel. So please consider subscribing. It would help me grow the channel. And as always, remember, stay safe and stay heavy. Peace out.